I think we're live. I think that's our catchphrase, right?
Yeah,
I think we're. I think we're. That should be the name of the show. I think we're live. Sorry, about a minute left. Was having some tech issues. We're gonna be tasting and reviewing, doing a food review on Casey's Pizza. Their new kind of pizza, which is barbecue brisket. I've never had it before. Have you?
No, it smells really good though. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, yeah. And anyways, the reason that we're having tech issues is because they actually had to slaughter a pig for us because nobody else gets that kind of pizza. Hopefully that changes after the show, and after we give a positive review. But yeah, Adam was a little late to bring the pizza, so a minute late. Anyways, got all that.
That's not too bad though. I mean, 6:32.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Adam Drain, how are you doing today? Got a celebrity, a Minneapolis celebrity, for a couple of reasons. For one, he's on this show right now as the co-host or guest. Well, I don't know what it's going to end up being. Hopefully both. But celebrity. This guy, not only is he on this show today, but he was also on the Minneapolis news.
Oh, that's right.
Did you see it before I told you? Or?
So that's the thing. I was going through the Minneapolis news and I was seeing people I was recognizing from 2012 homecoming, I believe. And I was going through the pictures and I was like, I didn't see myself. I literally went through all the pictures. And funny enough, the picture you showed me, I remember seeing, but I didn't realize it was in the background.
Are you able to look at pictures from the past and recognize yourself now that you've had that beard, that big ass beard for about 10 years now?
Yeah, I can recognize myself.
Actually, 10 years. So you've had that same beard since 2013.
Yeah, just about.
Hey, we got one of the Portillo brothers here, either Josh or Justin. Says two beasts. Well,
thank you.
I prefer to be called. What were we calling last week? What,
gorillas?
Gorillas, vanilla gorillas. But you ever met the Portillo brothers? Twins.
I think I have. Maybe I haven't. I mean, they would.
Two of the great. Josh is living in Cedar Rapids now. Great dude. But let's look at the. Hey, your dad's calling right now. Hey, Jim, we see you. We're gonna get right to you. And you and your son and I are going to all talk, and we're going to also do commentary and review your Tulsa Nationals match. We got it all set up. But let's look at the homecoming picture that we were talking about. Present, share screen. Getting to become a pro at this, right? This. Hey, look at him. There's. Oh wait, I haven't set it up yet, have I? Yeah, we have. Isn't Adam pretty in this picture? Which one are you, Adam?
I'm pretty sure I'm the one in the middle. Yeah, I didn't see that picture. I didn't see myself in that picture.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Adam is the real pretty girl in the blue dress in the middle in this picture. This is right before he went off to the big dance with who did you go with to the big dance?
Jesse. I went with Jesse.
You went with Jesse. Shout out to Jesse Ertz. You got a hot one.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Adam, for those of you guys that don't know, this picture is posted as a flashback on the Minneapolis News Facebook today, and he is actually photobombing this picture. He's in the white shirt behind. I know I can't, if you can tell the resemblance. Actually, Adam, you know what? Old Man River here, I was already out of school 12 years at that point. Who are these people? I see you. I don't know if I recognize anybody else. Who's this cat on the laptop right here?
Oh, I think that's Brady Banwart.
Oh, that's Brady Banwart?
Yep. You want to know something crazy about Brady Banwart?
Yes, I do.
And you're probably not going to believe me. So Brady Banwart, Wade, maybe even Dad can say for sure. I think he was a 135, 140 pounder. And at Quincy one time, he was doing pull-ups. And Stephen Holloway, who was the 80 pounder, hung on Banwart's waist, and he ripped out probably 10 pull-ups without any issue with Stephen Holloway hanging on. Yeah.
Those Banwarts are something else.
I was like, oh, I didn't realize you were that strong.
Banwart. Wow. We had a guy named Marshall Cothey. He's one of my best friends. I had him. He was one of the guys that I talked to that called in last week, and I had him on here for an hour. He married a Banwart.
Oh, really?
But they're not from Southeast Iowa. They're just, but I assume they're related because it's an apostolic name.
I guess you have a point.
That's cool. Yeah, every Banwart that I've ever met, they're athletically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get your dad on the We're going to get your dad on the podcast here. He's calling in right now. Let's get right to it. All right, Jim, we're getting you on right now. Add to stream. Let's set up a different. How about? No, I don't know about that. No, that ain't gonna work. There we go. How's that? Jim Drain, what's up, bud?
What's up? What's going on up there?
Oh, not too much. How do you hear us? Like how we coming in?
You're perfect. Lori's watching you guys on YouTube on the TV. I got you on my phone because it's about four seconds quicker on the phone.
Oh, perfect. Efficiency is something that we're working on. So another thing we're working on is getting a girls wrestling program started at Mediapolis. And considering that happens, I would love for you to be the coach of my 3 daughters, considering I have 3 daughters, oldest of 4 brothers and father of 3 daughters at Mediapolis.
I don't think,
and they're all starting to wrestle right now.
There's a single person that wouldn't want him as the coach.
Right? Oh, I know. So let's hear the pitch.
Well,
actually,
the pitch.
Let me make sure this is off real quick. There we go.
Your pitch is simple, but it needs to happen now if you're planning on a wrestling program in the fall for these young ladies. If you wait until the fall for these young ladies, you're going to do a misjustice for a year, maybe 2 years for them. They need to know what they got coming. They need to know that the mat's available now. When you talk about, you guys been around me long enough, and you know the basics matter. And if those girls are going to go in there compete, man, if you could just get those basics down with a little bit of fire, they could go a long way. But the problem is it's the unknown. I mean, it was just like this when John Johnson stepped up and wanted to start that wrestling program in West Burlington. The unknown didn't stop him, man. That guy, and yeah, he did ask me to come on board, and we worked tremendously hard on that program there. I was a football
West Burlington.
I was West Burlington. I was a football coach there already, so it helped me out a little bit. Being in the school system and going and visiting with these boys, and that's what's got to happen with the girls. You can't just put on a piece of paper, we are going to pay an assistant girls wrestling coach to join the high school boys coach for any girls that may want to come out for wrestling. And if you continue to present it that way, they're going to trickle in. There's no doubt. You're talking about your daughters and you're talking about some other girls. They're going to trickle in, and then it's going to be, many years down the road. That ain't how you got to handle it. Right now, what Mediapolis needs to decide that they want a girls wrestling program, that they want one, not that they're being coerced into one, not that they're being forced into one. They want one, and it's needed. I mean, the girls the rest of Iowa, Mediapolis is falling behind, and Mediapolis has a unique opportunity because they've loved their sport so much. They've had great parents, great grandparents, great faculty, great school. They really have an opportunity here to hit the road running. But some things have got to happen. For one, they got to decide they want a head girls wrestling coach. When and if they decide they want a girls head wrestling coach, I will apply for the position. But I'm only going to apply for the position for one reason. It's to get it started. Because the young lady, let me repeat myself, the young lady that I bring on board with me will be taking over that program in possibly 2 to 3 to 5 years.
That would be really sweet if it was Cindy Johnson, if that's who you're. Or Kathy for that matter.
Okay, now think about this. Think about a head women's wrestling coach at Mediapolis with a assistant woman coach for the girls in Mediapolis. And I'm talking about girls that know wrestling. I ain't talking about just some girls going to go watch videos and Kolak and stuff like that. I'm talking about people that know the sport, because there's just more than wrestling in the sport. You got to get people through times of hardship. You got to get people through school. You got to help, you got to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So we can do it for Mediapolis, but Mediapolis has got to want to do it. And I'm not willing to touch it unless somebody's 100% in. You two know me. That young man back there knows me a little bit better. I'm not willing to touch it unless it's 100%, because once I roll this ball, look out. Here's another thing. So let's go hypothetical. All right, Mediapolis said, Jim, they're in. We got a position paid, a $1 position paid head wrestling coach, and a full paid assistant wrestling coach to come in there and start their program for them. Once if all that was decided Monday, then I would need an assembly with those young ladies by the end of April. Every young lady in that school, from kindergarten to high school, and I want the boys in there too, because that's what it's going to take to really hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. Now, your other option is to trickle in, like it sounds like me, and nothing against the Mediapolis and what they're deciding. Athletic director, they got to look out for their school. They got to do what's best for their school at the time. You talk about financially, you talk about the room, you talk about the implementations of starting a new program. I mean, there's just so we can't just go judge faculty and who's in charge saying, well, you're dragging your feet. You may not want this. You may just want to test the waters. I can't test waters. I think you two know me better than that. When I jump in, it's not testing waters. It's rock and roll.
I personally, and like you say, I don't know you as well as this guy back here, or your son Aaron, or Lori.
Oh,
or
anybody. Pretty well.
But I know I've known you pretty well for over the years, and I've never heard you say anything that you didn't 100% fully commit to, or mean, for that matter. If you don't mean something, you don't say it. That's just the way that you are. But
and I got stories about you too, so careful now.
We'll just block your call when we're talking trash about your wrestle match.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about Adam because I mean, I don't know what kind of weird stories you have about me.
The stories about you are probably way worse than mine.
Listen, I cut from 170 pounds to 133 pounds because I was challenged by the guys I was coaching. The guys that was
for the Tulsa. That's for the Tulsa wrestling match, wasn't it?
Well, that was one of them. I mean, I wrestled 6 of them, but that was promoted because the guys that were sacrificing in my room asked me to sacrifice with them, and I did. It had nothing to do with anything. I was figuring I was going to go down there and get hammered. Be honest with you, I didn't dream that I could go in there and challenge those guys, and then the one match you got, the dude forfeited out.
I brought that up here right now. We're gonna watch that together, and you're gonna you've got to fill me in on this. You've got to fill me in on why did that guy tap out? Like, what went on there? What was wrong with him? Was he hurt? Like,
oh no, he stood up and told me I was taking it too damn serious.
It was just an arm bar.
That's the fight. Like, because like when he took him down with that ankle pick, he kind of looked like what is with this guy?
Okay, well, let me stick up for the next guy. The guy before him that I wrestled, he tried to toss me, and I double overhooked him when he tried to toss me, and I planted his shoulders flat on the freaking mat, and he went unconscious. So they took
this
him.
Guy was already scared before he took the mat.
Well, it was his friend.
This guy didn't get last in the bracket. The guy that you beat in the video, did he beat the other guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so this was the finals match.
That was finals. That was pathetic.
Dude, you made him break.
It was sad.
Man, let's watch that right now. Actually, I think it'll be kind of fun. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Share screen with. There we go. Is that the one that's pulled up? I hope. I hope.
That's like an infinite mirror going on here.
Yeah. Oh, shucks. All right.
We'll hit play and ask him if he can see it.
Oops, I accidentally hit invite guest.
I'm watching you two on my TV, and I'm watching you two.
Here we go. And how dare you mock this? This is like the best. I've watched this so many times. All right, so there's Jim Drain right there. Jim right when I see this, in my opinion, you can tell it's a drain just by the way you guys walk. Like you guys have all got this strut to you. So this is the Tulsa Masters Finals. And Jim Drain is in the dark green singlet. That's what we've got on with us right now.
The head looks too big for the body. You cut weight for it.
Yeah, you cut 30 pounds for it. Good position, good position.
And this kid looks like he's hardly 20.
It's not a kid. It's like probably 60.
Really?
Your dad was like 35, right?
Tell me this guy's
This
20. He's got knees college kid.
It was a hell of an ankle pick. Like I've seen Aaron and you do similar kinds of ankle picks. Aaron Drain has weighed in. I could take him. I don't know about that, Aaron. I've seen him.
At that age, it probably
Seen him
is.
scare you a time or two. Look at that cradle. Macho Man. Kevin Hammond says, kid looks scared to death. The guy's like 60.
Yeah, he wouldn't let go of my hand.
This kid's just holding on to it.
Oh,
I'm done.
He taps out. That's the only time I've ever seen that. I've never ever seen anybody tap out before, ever. He tapped out because he was going too hard. And then there's Aaron. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's Aaron in the background. There's Calvin Keller, Mitch Dill. That was awesome.
Everybody see.
I'm going to get that removed real quick.
Let's go! Come on!
I don't know what that was. But we're going to. Okay. Now let's get back situated. Yeah. So and that was your first wrestling match since did you have any in the mid 80s before?
Not, yeah, oh yeah, in the military. No, I wrestled when I was in the Army. I did boxing and wrestling.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were like a 8-man team that ran around Germany and kicked the crap out of whoever we could. Got our butts handed to us a few times, but it was fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the boxing was different. Well, I think I only boxed like 5 bouts, and that was enough for me.
Gotcha. 1 second, I'm gonna interrupt to say something real quick. To any of you guys watching out there, this thing is funded by stars. If you send stars, that's what this whole thing's funded by. And a little different today. Whoever sends the most stars in this broadcast will get a free PinDox shirt. They are hot items. I've sold like 10 t-shirts in the last 10 months. A great businessman.
That's all
Great
right.
businessman.
Everything starts off slow.
Yeah.
I'd like the John Siegel pose on your t-shirt.
The flex?
Yeah, the John. Yeah, well, except John's holding up 2 instead of the muscle.
In which you got to deal with John Siegel from a couple of different angles. You got to coach against him, and you also had, I'm not going to say ref against him, but definitely ref when he definitely, I'm sure when you were officiating a wrestling meet, he made it known that he was there. You know what I mean?
Yes, he did. And I won every debate at the table with him. That's one of my mentors, by the way. He probably doesn't realize it. He probably doesn't know it. But that on return, matter of fact, I felt pretty proud of myself because I was kind of I worked intelligence in the military, so I'd get crap out of him he didn't even know I was getting. I'd get information out of him, as far as situations that you're in, the moves, what you want to do here, what you need to do at practice. He doesn't even know that I attacked him, and I robbed him. And I'm pretty proud of it too, because he is one of my mentors. But I have many of them there. That's like Dan Cummings. He actually kicked me off the junior high wrestling team and chased my butt across that creek. I hit him with the rock. He chased me down around a building down there, and there was a tree right across the street and a house, and I jumped the creek, and he didn't want to jump the creek, so I threw picked up a rock and threw it at him. I hit him with it. So before
and then you guys were head coach and assistant coach, winning a state title in 2015 as a team.
Yeah, I had to apologize for that rock though. He didn't deserve that. But if he would have jumped that creek, I'd hit him with another one. And he's
was it one of those moments when you guys were jumping up and celebrating? And it's like, by the way, Coach Cummings, I apologize about hitting with that.
So when I really got serious about wrestling, guys, I had to jump in the fray and I had to do research like no other. And when you talk about people like Dan Cummings, you talk about people like John Siegel and Pleen, and you talk about those coaches that were in Southeast Iowa. I robbed them all. I stole from them all. I listened to them all. I absorbed them all. I used what I heard from them. I didn't use everything they said, but, you know, I took little bits and pieces. Not only did I do that, I also researched, you know, all the places. This is just when online started too. So it ain't like you got now, buddy. You know, when you got on, all you could do is get little clips of videos of what people are doing when I started. But I used all those great guys. You know what? One thing I can say about wrestling, and even when I finished with Luke Erickson, I never stopped wanting to learn more. It's kind of like my nursing career. You know, I'm a surgical nurse, and when I go in and do different surgeries, I just want to learn more. It was like an obsession with me. Wrestling was probably more an obsession. And, you know, I could have never done none of that without Lori. And that's what, you know, when you talk about great coaches and talk about kids that, you know, that the woman being part of my life while I was trying to coach kept me just a little bit lower than level of ballistic. You see what I'm saying? I mean, she kept me below that ballistic level. And so I owe her a lot too. But I had great kids. I mean, you just talked about that little knucklehead that lifted what's his name and did a pull up and whatever.
Brady Banwart. Yeah.
Do you know why that kid?
You had a nickname for him. What was his name?
Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
So, I met this kid for the first time when I coached wrestling and football, and all my kids will tell you that. I would go into the school before the season started, and I'd ask for a meeting with all these kids. And then I'd present what I had to offer, what I was looking for, and I was asking them all to come join me. And I was successful at it. The kids, even some kids that wasn't going to play football and didn't play football, I was able to get in the wrestling room and on the football field, because I took the time before the season started, and I wanted to make sure they seen this ugly face. So when it was come time to say, well, you guys want to go do this? They said, oh, that was that old grumpy skinny guy that come in here. It's all right. Bam Bam was one of them. Never met the kid. I went in for the junior high football meeting and I talked him into playing football. Now there were some other issues with religion and I don't remember all that, but I talked to him on the football field, and that kid, man, when he hit you, it was a brick wall hitting you. That kid was so powerful. At the end of the football season, I asked him to join the wrestling team, and he did.
He's one of these guys where, imagine if he would have started when he was like a little kid, like 6, 7 years old, like a lot of people do, you know. I don't think Brady started till he was a little older, right?
Was it eighth grade?
I think so.
See, he got third at districts, didn't he? He was just I want to say he was the only guy on the team that didn't qualify, or like one of two that didn't qualify when he was a senior. But it was like nothing to scoff at because he didn't start till like 7th or 8th grade, and he was, you know, third place at districts in a district that had Mediapolis, Assumption, Williamsburg, you know, schools like that were just stacked at the time. I mean, I had all kinds of flame wars of people on the predicament for. And anybody that came out of the Fairfield district, I think it was where it was, either Fairfield or Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was tough.
Yeah.
Tough. But just got top 3 in those districts. Any weights, every single weight.
Williamsburg, where Dan almost got us kicked out. Was that Williamsburg? No.
Which time?
Those got me in more trouble than I ever got in by myself. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's get to some comments real quick. We got Zach Walrod. Remember him? I
remember. Yeah, is he still riding horses?
I got him right here. I got his comment pulled up, and it's on our screen. Can you see that?
No.
Oh, you can't. Zach Walrod says, "Hi, Coach Jim." And that's all it says.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, he was a tough kid, wasn't he? Down, he was down Fort Madison.
Yes, he was. He was.
And then man, that was a tough little nail too.
Yes, he was. He was cousins with Zeth Nolda, I believe, or Charlie Falk, or one of the two. I want to say that he was cousins with one of them, Zeth Nolda. I want to say.
Yeah.
That kid was a stud too. Got second at AAU, and
Yeah,
Walrod got second at AAU.
Yeah, Zach was a great kid. That might have been. Was it that Zach Walrod? No, that wouldn't have been the year when Aaron pooped his pants on the mat. Nah, that was way before that.
That was my mom and dad and me and Shay, I think, were just talking about that last week. My mom was just like, who is that mom that went off on Coach Drain, and like Aaron pooped his pants during a match, and it was like he couldn't get off the mat. It was like they were
James Moore. She didn't come after me. She came after Aaron on the podium, and then Lori dragging Adam in tow. I don't know. He was 1 year old or 2 years. She was dragging Adam, going after the mom that was going after Aaron. Man, we all had.
Yeah. I don't want to name drop or anything. It was a little. Those two went back and forth like that entire year from West Liberty. Man, the West Liberty Mediapolis rivalry back in those days was intense.
Yeah, that was intense,
especially with Aaron and West Liberty. Woo,
Yeah, he was a clinger, man. He can hang on that leg like no other. And West Liberty got out.
Super glue on his fingers. But we got Spencer Fife. I remember him. He was in the class of 2015, from West Burlington. Spencer says, Coach Drain was hands down a favorite for me through junior high football and wrestling at West Burlington.
Yeah,
was a little blonde kid. His dad was really cool stuff too.
He was a great kid, and I enjoyed him. I still think of him once in a while.
Mm-hmm. He was a placer in Super Pee Wee stuff back when he was kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Tough kid.
Yeah. I left before he got up into high school, right? I believe.
Yeah.
I went to meet.
If you'd have been his high school coach, you'd probably heard some things about him at the state tournament and stuff. Yeah, not to take anything away from Tiger.
God, no. I love Tiger. I love the sport.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Great guy. I don't know anybody that would say anything bad about Tiger One Ball and Roger Hobbs.
Raj. You can't say much bad about Raj either.
Mm-hmm. Tim Miller says probably one of the top 5 dad faces I remember from wrestling when I think back. Jim Drain. You got to remember Calvin Keller too.
Kevin
Hammis. What does Kevin Hammis says? What does Coach Drain remember about Coach Jack Smith from Sigourney and coaching at the Van Buren Invitational?
Jack at the Van Buren. Well, I didn't do Van Buren much. I did a couple years with West Burlington, and I think right after I went to Mediapolis and helped with Dan, I think we dropped. I don't think we went to Sigourney. I don't think we went to Sigourney anymore, did we? I don't know.
It was at Van Buren.
I mean, I don't think we went to that Van Buren Invitational.
I can't remember. I feel like we only did that. I feel like we did that in the 70s and 80s. No, and then we had a couple years. Where.
Yeah, a couple years in the 90s or early 2000s. When I got to the Mediapolis, they didn't go to Sigourney anymore. So it must have been one at West Burlington when he's talking about. I hope it wasn't a bad deal.
Oh, I doubt it is.
Well, tell him he's got to say it now. You just can't ask the
question. For those of you who are watching and listening, Jim Drain has always been a man who has spoken what's on his mind, unfiltered. And there have been spats over the years, but most of those people that you've gotten into it with have become your friends later down the road.
Because they realized they were wrong, right?
No, they were passionate. There's one thing, and that's the thing about good coaching and good sports. There's one thing about being passionate, man. Everybody always used to harass John Siegel, and you know what? He's passionate. And I'm telling you what, you can get another 10% out of an athlete if they got somebody passionate behind them controlling where they're going. If they don't have the passion behind them, programs come and go and coaches come and go. But if they don't have the John Siegel passion It's tough to get anywhere. So, I hope I didn't rub anybody the wrong way. I'm sure I did over the years. I had some pretty big dudes. I wasn't ever worried about what I said. The reason is because I had somebody like Brandon Cummings standing next to me. What are you going to do to me? Nothing.
Yeah.
I
got a snap from Brandon a little while ago, and if I could say what it was online or publicly, I would fill you in, but it was a funny joke.
And Sean Timmerman was on the other side of me. What was you going to do to him?
Yeah.
And then
about somebody.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it. I could say what I wanted because I knew right then ain't nobody that I was around going to take either one of those guys.
Sure.
All right, we got Aaron Drain says, it just says a blank space.
Be careful.
Aaron's and Kyle Cover. Kyle Cover was a state champion out of West Branch in the late 2000s. Anyways, I'm not getting his comment either. He's posting something, but it's not coming up.
Yeah.
Christopher Johnson. He's a two-time played that third at state twice for West Burlington Notre Dame High School, and won how many? I want to say he won more national titles than he placed at state.
Yeah,
I mean, like big ones, Reno Worlds, Tulsa, and we kind of talked about this last week a little bit as to why he was able, why him and Aaron Drain were able to win multiple national titles, but never a high school state title. And my reasoning, like the way I always understood it, is I just felt like they were the types of guys that peaked in March. I feel like that people peak at different times of the year, and when March roll along, that and not to mention, when you get guys at these tournaments, at these national tournaments, and especially in April and March and stuff like that, it's a mixed bag as far as how much guys are training in those brackets, and and we never stopped. We didn't stop training after. We'd take like a week off after state wrestling or something, then we'd keep going. I know like Aaron and Chris, they didn't stop for anything. I mean, they kept going as hard after the season as they did during the season. I don't even think Justin for sure, but I know I definitely wasn't in that. And the results would support that.
I bet there's two more things that'd be part of that too. Is when you're wrestling the same people over and over and over again, like at your state, they get used to you. They know what you're capable of. They've been watching you all year. They've been practicing with you.
Yes.
Sometimes we're at the national level. They have no idea who you are. Another thing is when you walk into nationals, not knowing anybody or anything, you really don't have an expectation of you need to perform. You kind of go in there a little bit more eased, and when you go and compete more eased, in my opinion, you do better than being stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Being more relaxed.
Very true.
Definitely. I agree 100%.
Kevin is explaining.
Oh, okay. Kevin Hammis from Sigourney says, no bad deal between Coach Drain and Coach Smith. Coach Smith was the coach between 1963 and 1988 at Sigourney. So he would have coached George Snakenberg, Clark Yoder. I had this issue last week. Ross Yoder.
Did you compete at the Van Buren Invitational?
Mm-mm.
No.
What year did you graduate? 83 or 84?
I was supposed to graduate in 82, but remember I quit school in 9th grade.
And
my stepdad came in and woke me up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, you go to school starting today, And Richard, I said, "Well, I'm not going to school anymore. I'm going to go ahead and find something else to do." And he said, "No," he goes, "You're going to school. So get up and dressed and I'll take you." And I got dressed, took a shower, got dressed, and he was out in the car. It was a pickup truck. He was out in I think it was a green pickup truck. And I walked in and looked in. He's sitting in there in his pajamas with the truck running. I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm taking you to school." I said, "Well, you probably need to change out of your pajamas. I'll go." He goes, "No," he goes, "I'm good. I'll just stay in these." And we got down to Apollo School and pulled up there by Gibby's, and he got out of his car and come over and opened my door up in his pajamas. He said, "I'll take you in and introduce you to the principal. You're all signed up. You just got to go to the office and pick up your you're all right." I said, "You going back home? I got this." So I went in and started going to school again. And
nice.
I ain't saying I did real good, but I made it. And probably the biggest reason I made it is because, 2 months after I started, or maybe it was 3 months. I think it was 2 months. That boy sitting behind his mom walked down the hallway.
Gotcha.
And it was over.
What would be you and Lori's theme song? Like the moment you guys met eyes, what song goes through your head? Like REO Speedwagon?
We didn't meet then. We met because there was probably, I don't know, a week, maybe it was 2 weeks after that. We stayed out all night on Friday night, and Richard's mom took the car away from me, so I had to ride the school bus. And when I rode the school bus, the last 5 rows were always mine. I sat 5 rows from the back, and people just didn't want to go by me and sit in the back. So Lori said that there was 2 and 3 people in each seat. So she come over and told me to move my butt over. I was sitting there, and that was it.
Gotcha.
It was over.
Yeah, that's what women do. They pick you up.
They get their choice.
It was over. Now, don't get me wrong. I went to the military. We went through high school sweethearts, and I went to the military, and we did our own thing. But that magnet just came back together, and now you got that kid sitting behind you.
Gotcha. And he's done quite a few things in his life, and he's made you a proud papa to this day, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, all of them have. I can say this: I'm not disappointed in any of my kids. They struggle once in a while, they fall short once in a while, but they're banging it through life, and that's what you got to do. You got to bang it through life. And by God, if I can do it, growing up in poverty trailer park when Dan Cummings chased my butt home, if I can leave that trailer park into poverty with my mom working 2 jobs, and now I'm I ain't gonna say how much money I make, but it's a little bit, and I'm a surgical nurse. From that point to this point, there's no kid in this freaking world that can convince me that they can't succeed. And I'm only knowing it because I did. But I had a lot of people behind me. I had a strong mom, a strong grandma. That was huge. I had some great aunt and uncles, and then I met my wife, and this is what it is.
Would you have been able to convince yourself as a 15-year-old that you would have succeeded the way that you have?
Never.
So even you as a 15-year-old kid even kind of thought, man, when
I was a 15-year-old kid, my only 2 concerns was school's out Friday and where the Kager was Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha. Been there.
Yeah. Not just the way it was. Mm-hmm. Now, actually, Laura, as I met Laura and grew older, she got me away from that, not hanging out with the boys all the time, but yeah.
Right on, Jim. Hey, we're going to get to another comment here, and then we've got like another few topics to go to. So let me. This one is from Kyle Kober. He, like I said earlier, he was a state champion 285 pounder for West Branch High School. So I'm going to say that you probably saw him a couple times where were you coaching at in 2008 through like 2010 range? Were you at West Burlington still or Mediapolis?
When Adam was in 6th grade, and we already decided at that point for open enrollment, and I believe it was by the 7th grade. It was right there when Adam was in 6th and 7th grade is when I made the jump. I don't remember the year.
All right, so Kyle Kyle wrote this in the comment section. Says, one of the reasons I've been so hesitant on getting into coaching is because I know I'm going to care more than most of the wrestlers themselves and have more passion. But I know I wouldn't have been half as good as I was if I didn't have a few passionate coaches through the years myself. I didn't say myself, but I added that. Man, I understand exactly where he's coming from there, because
so I had this exact problem when I was helping with Dan. Is none of them cared enough to really put in the effort, but they still wanted to be there. So basically, I didn't lose my passion. I just directed it to what they wanted to accomplish with the sport. There's a reason they came out. It wasn't just because they're curious. Some of them wanted to be a little bit tougher. Some of them wanted to expand their repertoire, right? Mm-hmm. One of them did MMA since he wanted to learn wrestling. And I kind of just used what they wanted and put it in perspective on how they could get there through wrestling. And I think that kind of drew some of their passion out a little bit, especially when they started to succeed and win. And then it was over. Then once they taste the win, it was kind of nice. It was really nice. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah, well, I know this for I agree with what Adam said. But let me say this to Kyle. I have 9 grandkids now, 1 great grandkid, and my grandkids might decide to wrestle. And Mr. Kyle, I don't want anybody coaching my kids that's not you. I want a coach that is too passionate. I want a coach that wants to take their kid to the stars. A lot of your kids ain't going to make it to the stars. You think all the kids that I coached through the years, I loved them all, and I coached them all, and I coached them to their best ability, but I knew they weren't going to make it, to the stars. You can't be too passionate as a coach, but you be not passionate enough. So, Kyle, man, if that's true, it's just you might have more passion than everybody else that you're coaching. That better be true, because you won't get them to the level they need to get to.
Good. Very good feedback. I see, when I read that comment, I basically just read it and was like, man, I can relate 100%, but I definitely couldn't put into words why I could relate to it. So that was very good.
Now, can too passionate make you look foolish sometimes in front of eyes of others? Yeah, but the really good coaches, the brands, they don't. That doesn't even affect their well-being. They love what they're doing, and they are going to be passionate.
Nice. Melanie Berquist says, I tried to keep him out of trouble.
Oh, that woman caused me more trouble.
I've known Melanie a long time. My dad worked with her for a long time, and she worked with me for a while too, because I was at United States Chips, and I was the stacker tender, and she was a fork truck operator. I'm sure I drove her nuts. Well, he's working on my PinDox shit when I'm supposed to be working. But
I was okay. I was okay unless it was 8s and 15 or 8s 15 stacked high. Then rock and roll, look out! You better be smoking off them stacks. Yeah,
it's a very unforgiving place. I mean, if you
I worked
if you just putting a piece of done it, John. I mean, like the factory's not going to stop for you, Yeah. And I'm at my best when I can think a little bit, but I was not at my best there. That's for sure. I was there 8 or 9 years. How old were you there, Jim?
I was only there about 2.5 years. I was down the mine for a year, and then I went upstairs because I went to nursing school.
Gotcha.
And I needed a different hours, and I tried studying on that fork truck. When I did my pre-classes, I wasn't in nursing school yet, but when I was at Gibson, I was doing the pre-classes, which is another thing Lori made me do. I'd have never been a nurse, but she forced me to do it. So
I'm sure you don't regret that now.
No, I don't regret it.
Yeah,
not at all.
I went to nursing school in the early 2010s. I'm not going to get into as to why it didn't work out, but let's just to put it in short, nurses have to go through a grind to get their certification. Holy cow. I mean, you got multiple choice questions, and you have more than one right answer. You have to pick the one that's most right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always a really good test taker if there was one right answer. But man, when there's like 2 right and you have to pick the most right, or else you don't get any credit. I mean, they don't even give you 50% credit. They give you 0.
No, they died.
Right. Yeah.
Well, in some cases that's
wow.
the case, though.
But that, and I hated it too, and they still did it. But what that taught me as far as being a nurse is, let's say that I'm looking at your labs, you're doing a CBC on you, and I look at your CBC. I have to be able to put 2 or 3 things of those together sometimes. One of them might not be right, what I'm looking for. It could be the other one. It could be 3. It could be 60% chance this, 40% chance this, 20% chance this, and it could be all 3. So one thing that taught me, the way they were doing those tests, you're right. You got so many points for the right answer, so many points for the second right answer. But what that taught me is when I look at labs, there's more than one right answer there. one of them's more important. I get it. And it's my job to figure out, or not my job, the doctor's job to figure out which one's more important. So yeah, they tests suck, but it taught me a little bit on how to handle certain things.
How has nursing helped you for your wrestling, and how has wrestling helped you for your nursing?
I don't know. I know this, that, when I started coaching the Great River Medical Center, they're not called that now. They were called BMC when I started there, but Great River Medical Center and the president there and the president of nursing and several of the surgeons actually made it possible for me to coach the kids that I coached. The hospital itself, they worked around my schedule a little bit. They allowed me to do some different rescheduling so I could get to where I needed to be when I needed to be there. So, if I wouldn't have worked at Great River, I'm not sure I'd have been able to put everything that I put into the wrestling part of my life. It was Mark Richardson. He was the president there. That guy, well, the president there now, Mr. Michael McCoy. I've done surgery with him more times than I can count at 2:00 in the morning, delivering babies. But the guy supported me what I was doing back then, and I got monies for these kids to go to Reno and go to Tulsa and Cincinnati and Texas. A lot of that money, I kind of lied to my families. They were thinking it was coming, that the surgeons were giving me money. And I was using that money to pay the hotel bills, the gas bills, everything that needed to be paid. Michael McCoy was one of them. That's why when I heard that he was taking over, well, what's it called now? What's Great River called now?
It's still the same.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Him taking over as president.
Yeah.
Him taking over as president of that organization, that's just positive for Southeast Iowa. There's no way, shape, or form it's anything but positive for Southeast Iowa. And he's been there. He's been there all his life too.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know anything about the medical field. I just have some common sense. And every person I've talked to that works at that hospital would tell me that it's going to shambles. And I'd say, does that CEO know anything about what goes on down on the floor? And they said, no. And I said, well, that's your problem. You have people that get paid the biggest bucks in the company that actually have no experience on what needs to happen and what goes on day to day.
Michael McCoy does.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need a doctor to run the hospital.
Well, it helps. It helps sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't help so much. But yeah, you're right, kiddo. It helps.
Well, that's the problem with CEOs these days is they come in and run a company and they expect to, do all these changes.
I know you got to though, man. The regulations that we have, and it's I wouldn't do the job.
No. I mean, unless you knew every aspect of the job, you probably wouldn't want to do it. But
I'll be his hit man, but the job.
Yeah. I wonder what's get some of these other comments up here.
Are you getting the hang of that?
I think so.
No, you can scoot up.
No, I'm just making sure you can get in here.
Look, Justin had left one right before him. This is my brother, Justin Swafford. He's a 4-time placer, state champ, 3-time finalist. Says, Coach, Drain has passion in droves. Respect for you, sir. You always push me well past my ceiling and comfort zone. Thanks for everything you've done through the years of life and lessons along the way.
Oh yeah, that little turd brother of yours is one of my favorite from the beginning.
Oh, I know. You've always referenced. He's always been one of your favorite guys to reference.
And the intensity, and I seen that in Brennan a little bit too. That intensity that he had, he brought it to us all. So if I got a wrestler out there acting like that kid, how can I not be intense? I mean, he brought, he brought some honoriness out of us coaches too, because that little turd was ornery. I remember one time we was running the stairs there at the Greyhound School, Burlington High School, and I don't know what Mike Sayre was saying to him, but boy, he was rubbing him wrong. And that freaking Justin, he was running with everybody else. He always stayed ahead of.
He laughed every. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That kid, no.
We were supposed to do 30 laps. Right? You go up the stairs, down the stairs, across the hall, across the gym, and that's one lap. And
Yeah.
we're supposed to do 30 of them. Justin got done with his 30, and he lapped it. He would be done with 30 when I was on like 18. And I was like right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, he smoked most people though.
And oh yeah, for sure. Him and Brad Lauer and Caleb Martin was always up there.
Yeah.
But Justin got done with his 30, and this is the week before state, actually. Like the year that he wrestled Mosafé in the semis, and then CJ Edelson in the quarters. But
this is why you don't call Justin Swafford a liar, by the way.
Yeah, Justin, as intense as he was and everything, never had a bad mouth. You never heard him cuss. You never saw him doing anything that was like, bad little kid. It was just ordinary squirrely stuff, and just had a lot of energy. But man, Mike Sayre, when he finished his 30th lap, and I was on like 15 or 8, like he was soaring. I was way back there. Mike was just like, no, bullcrap, you're not done yet. 5 more laps. And Justin's like, what? Oh, dude, he just starts sprinting even faster.
Yeah.
And he's like 6th grade, fifth, 6th grade, tiny. And
I was standing there
yelling every derogatory term you can think of at the top of his lungs all through Burlington High School as we're running. I want to say I only got done with like 20 laps when Mike Sayre was like, you're done, you guys are done. And he made Justin keep on running just to mess with him. And Justin's like, I got 30 done like 20 minutes ago. F you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. That was so freaking funny.
Nearly 50 laps.
That was fun. That's
just another 5.
Justin hasn't forgotten. Nearly 50. I got done with 22.
Put that one up there.
Yeah, Justin was a special kid. He made me more passionate about what I was doing. He made me more passionate about pushing Aaron a little bit more. It was a good deal. I was around some good coaches, not just Mike and Mark, but we had a couple other good coaches in there. It was a good start for my career, and I knew I was 10 steps behind everybody. So that first 3 or 4 years, man, I caught up a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. Nice. We got another question. We got another comment from Kyle Cover. Question for y'all: what's the best thing a coach has said to you that improved yourself or wrestling, and what's the most important things you try to get through to your athletes? Oh man, that is thought-provoking.
I think my favorite thing that I think pushed me the most was the last 30 seconds. You're tired, score's tied, you're up by 1. It doesn't matter. You look in the coach's corner, and Jim Drain says, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? It's up to you. And I'd go out there and I'd finish it out because I wanted it bad.
Yeah.
That was just it.
Is it as easy as that?
Because those last 30 seconds mean a lot. They really do. When you're tired and you can't think, you can't function, it comes down to the heart. Adam's
right. It's a saying that I said so many times to him with so much success. It's not just to him I said it. It's to every wrestler that was at that point, and we're down to the last few seconds. You could be ahead by 1, you could be behind by 1, but this is the point. That is the point where you decide how bad you really do want it. Mm-hmm. Because without that 15, 20, 30 seconds of the most intense energy that you can muster when you're dead tired is a result of the match. Mm-hmm. And we did win some few. We came back from behind a couple points, 1 point behind. But I just didn't say it to Adam. Adam probably thinks I just said everything to him. But I always ask my wrestlers, when we're that close, how bad do you want it? Because I can't come out and do it. It's you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it raises the intensity a little bit, I hope.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And if I were to answer that, I would say there were 3 coaches. There are several coaches that stick out but I had to deal with a lot of anxiety before. I'd say that if there was anything that beat me before I wrestled, or even when I wrestled, it would have been pre and during match anxiety, just anxiety in general. I feel like sometimes that I'd stress myself out to the point where I was trying to operate and trying to compete while trying to fight off a panic attack at the same time. And there were a lot of people like to say, you have asthma, you must have asthma, that's why you're dying. Well, if I had asthma, I'd be dying every day in the practice room, yet I'm going 2 hours hard without even getting winded. So I don't think that adds up. But the coaches there were a few that recognized what I was running into with it being anxiety. And one was Damon Wick, who was my coach my sophomore year at Mepo. Sean Timmerman was another that my senior year started kind of figuring out what that all was with me. My uncle Kevin, though, he picked up on it when I was a youth wrestler, and I was a state placer in high school. In youth wrestling, I was top 4 most years. My uncle Kevin Swafford, my dad's older brother, he used to always tell me, and when he look at me and he kind of know that, I was scared to lose because I didn't want to let everybody down, but he would just basically between matches would emphasize making sure that I knew that whatever I was feeling, any fear of losing, any worrying about what the other guy was going to do, they were thinking and feeling the same thing as me. And when he kind of, and basically just like, you see your opponent over there? I used to hate looking at my opponents. I hated seeing my opponents warming up. It scared me. Not that I was scared of my opponents. I was scared of losing. I didn't want to lose, especially in front of a bunch of people. Yeah. But Kevin would basically just like, yeah, see how scared he looks? And then I'd look over and, it would give me the vibe of, wow, I guess, they aren't preparing to, beat me in front of everybody. They're actually scared of me, just like I'm scared to lose them, So I would say that anybody that gave me a pre-match speech that made me feel like I was an equal that was destined to win, that's the stuff that always sticks out to me. Because I had a really, really difficult time with pre-match anxiety.
What are you talking about? You think I was just standing back there watching and not absorbing? I was with you during all them pre.
Oh, I know. I was just answering the question.
I was with you one time when you puked your way out of a match.
Second grade.
You puked your way out of a match.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend now.
I had to register that.
Yeah.
Showed him, didn't you?
That's the only time he beat me. Dang it! I don't know why I didn't believe him. So I beat him like 5-0, a few weeks before that. But for whatever reason, I just did not want to lose to that cocky bastard.
Okay, so that headset.
Joking, Jake.
That headset that you just talked about, that you went through, that high anxiety. If you can't, that has to be controlled, because if you can't control it, you can't think. And regardless what any coach ever tells you, you do think out on the mat. They say, "Oh, you don't think. It's just muscle memory. You just do this." No, it is muscle memory. What they're saying is correct, but you must be able to think. Your fight and flight. I'm a nurse now. I'm telling you exactly what happened and exactly why you was having that trouble, because you couldn't handle the adrenaline that was released in your blood. Your rapid heart rate up around 150 beats a minute. Your blood pressure is screaming, and you're about ready to go out and compete in a match. Now, your best athletes in the world, if Michael Jordan himself put his body in motion, I'm talking about his emotion. So you have two nervous systems, guys. You have autonomic and you have a central nervous system. They're designed to control two different things. One of them is designed for flight and fight. Okay. If that thing goes into high gear and you are not in high gear, that's where you struggle with the nausea, the vomiting, the faintness, the lightheadedness, because your fight and flight has kicked in, but yet your body hasn't kicked in to do what it's supposed to do. If your heart rate's up around 150 beats a minute and your blood pressure's up, take off running. That way you increase the rest of your system to meet that need. You would just, it was not a medical condition, but there's a medical reason why you were ending up at that point.
Like essentially an adrenaline dump is what I've come to understand it as.
Yeah. And what happens when adrenaline starts? What happens to your stomach?
Stops digesting.
Shuts down blood supply. Yep.
Right.
What happens to stuff in your stomach?
Gets thrown up.
It's got to go somewhere. It's not digested, not mixed with the enzymes. It ain't going into that small bowel, dude. It's coming out the other way. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Right on. Okay. Well, Coach Jim Drain, we've got a couple other topics to get to and everything, but heck, we can do this every week as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Let's the time's running out for this Mediapolis girl thing, unless that, if they want to put their toe in the water. But I'm good with it too. I want them to get something started. But if they want to do it right and be at a state competitive level in 5 years, they got to put both feet in the water.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm 100% supportive of it. I want somebody to coach, and you'll have the pin doctors giving you plenty of media love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's just those girls. The girls that's going to compete next year, they got to be on the mat. All right, guys. You guys stay. Adam, hey, are you going to trim that beard, or are you going Viking over to Germany? What?
I'm probably going to trim it. It's been bothering me.
Adam.
I had a comment last week that somebody was just like, hey, I think you need to find somebody closer to your age to do these podcasts with. That guy looks way older than you. I'm just joking. They didn't say that.
I figured.
Yeah, man. Adam, I've never been able to grow any whiskers right here or right here. I can't even do that.
Freshman year, I had to shave before every tournament.
I never had one whisker until I was like 20.
One time I tried to get by, and Mike Sayre saw a little peach fuzz on my upper lip, said, go shave it. I said, are you kidding me? He said, do I look like I'm kidding? Just, okay.
All right. Hey, guys, keep this going. And if you need any help or anything, let me know.
All right. Sounds good, Jim. Hey, thanks a lot. We're gonna be tasting some pizza now. We're gonna be doing a food review.
The Adam's got my euros, right?
Yeah. Yep. They have a lot left my site.
Okay. Don't let them leave your site.
They have.
All right.
Thanks for calling in, Jim.
Love you guys.
And to any of you guys out there who are listening, Mom. Okay. Our skin.
Hey, Mom.
There's the key to my success, kiddo.
Oh, so how you doing, Lori? It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. I didn't even know that you were there. So very cool.
I just saw her pop up.
Dude, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Catch me slipping by all means.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too, Jim.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. So, we were sitting here worrying about if we had anything enough to talk about. Of course, I mean, these things are going to last forever every time we do them, right? Mm-hmm. Even if we don't have a thing.
It's easy to fill in a couple hours.
Kick from studio. Whoop. I'm not going to kick your dad out. Okay.
Well,
Hopefully everything's normal now. We've got a few other things to get to. Most importantly, though, we got to get to some food. Yeah. Hold on. Josh Kelly.
Did you say
hey, dude, Josh Kelly tuned in.
Oh.
That is why wrestlers do very well in the military. Oh yeah, it's good. This is one of my best friends from high school, Josh Kelly, and he's a Marine. He's in the grade below me, which was 2002 at Danville High School. Wrestled for Mepo though, because we have a sharing program. This is a guy that went on to do so many good things in the Marines that he was on a billboard by Cedar Rapids. That's crazy. Can you imagine? Hung out with him all the time in high school, and every time driving by Cedar Rapids, he's on a billboard. It's like, Jesus.
I bet he never thought when he was getting in trouble
right.
as a kid that he would be the face of a billboard. The Marines.
Dude, you can't get much more badass than that. Josh Kelly, everybody. I love you, buddy. It's been way too. It's probably been 10 years. Can't even freaking believe that.
I actually saw him in Monterey a couple years ago. That was a fun time.
All right, so we're gonna eat some pizza, and you guys are gonna watch us. Actually, we're gonna do a reaction video and a food review. So the person that inspired this is a guy named. Actually, I don't know his name. I just know him as Reviewbrah. He's been around for probably 10, 15 years, I'm guessing. It's this guy that goes to fast food restaurants and he does food reviews while wearing a suit, while wearing a suit and tie. So Adam's never seen him before. I've been telling him about it. And so this is going to be his reaction to watching the food Reviewbrah, which is a life-changing experience. When first I ever laid eyes on this guy, like my whole world changed. And we're going to be tasting Casey's barbecue brisket pizza while we watch this guy. So Adam, the question I want you to ask yourself while watching this is this guy serious? Because I can't tell. He's so dry. I mean, I can't tell. Let's I just put on her own show.
You had a loop going there.
Yeah.
Probably would have caused a black hole.
Forgot that I used that as the cover photo for that. Oh, this guy's gonna fit. Okay, so he just released a video yesterday called "Did KFC release the best fast food chicken nuggets?" I don't know, but we're gonna eat pizza while we find out. Oh, hang on a minute. Are they? No. All right, so let's try and add this.
The perfect high quality recording every single time.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so this is the
This
Reviewbrah.
is Running on Empty.
You try and get a
food
better view of
review.
this.
Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome, one and all.
All right, so we're
to
gonna
this
eat some
newest
pizza
edition of the Running
while
on
watching
Empty
the food
review
Reviewbrah.
series. I'm your host.
And we're gonna
for
let you
the George
know-
of the week. Thank you for checking in. Well, to address the elephant
We're gonna
in
let
the
you guys all
room,
know
if
what we
the
think
lighting
of
is at all a little
the
iffy,
Casey's barbecue brisket
understand
pizza, which is a
that
little cold
we
by
are
now.
just dealing with something that the
But
sheer
Give you a good
enormity
look at it. Here's a
of it.
Casey's barbecue
This item, what
brisket
I'm trying
pizza.
to say, is such
You
a
guys had
massive release.
If you've
It
had it before,
generates
then
its
hit us up
own
in the
light
comments. Let us know
source.
what you think of it.
So I'm only
I'm
able
hungry
to
as
work
hell,
with what
so.
I've got because this is big news. KFC
Let's get a little bit more.
has done the
heat in that.
unthinkable.
Delicious.
They have
Let's get that up for
transformed
Light. Can you give me a plate?
a base, so to speak, i.e. chicken, into
It is
something
that guy.
that before today was inconceivable. Something upon which,
For any of
I
you
mean,
guys out there
I had
that are
never
watching
thought such
still,
a thing was even possible.
Whoever sends the most stars is gonna get a free T-shirt.
Imagine if you took chicken
Hmm.
and you cut said chicken into smaller pieces and then you breaded and fried those smaller pieces of chicken and you presented them as a new creation called a chicken nugget. That's $1 million idea, isn't it?
I know.
And it's never even occurred to me, but it occurred to KFC because they are now premiering these things that are called chicken nuggets on their menu. They are just released, and I'm going to be trying them. Yeah, admittedly, I'm in a bit of a sarcastic mood today, but
He's in a bit of
it
a
is
sarcastic
surprising
mood.
that these are actually a new release from KFC. Chicken nuggets, I think you just assume that every place that sells chicken would have some form of chicken
He's not a
nugget.
robot, is he?
But KFC,
You
I
might
think
just be
they've
fit.
released these before. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but I swear they've had chicken nuggets before. Anyway, they are back. They say they are 100% white meat chicken, and you can get them in a variety of sizes. You can get a 5-piece, an 8-piece, a 12-piece, and a 36-piece. The price, you can get them
36,
individually,
yeah.
so I just got the 5-piece without any sort of side. I got it $5, or actually, my apologies, I got the numbers mixed up. $5 for an 8-piece. I got the 8-piece of the nuggets today, and it's $5
That bastard.
for an 8-piece of the nuggets. That was my mistake. I'll get rid of that now. And if you want to get the nuggets, you could also get them with a variety of dipping sauces. So I decided to get these nuggets with some honey barbecue dipping sauce. But yeah, really, they're just basic chicken nuggets. But sometimes you don't really need to make some sort of fancy, intricate item for it to be good. So we'll see how these are. The Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets is what they're called. They come, as you can see right here, in their own exclusive packaging with the Colonel there giving you the death stare.
Oh, man.
Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets, 100% white meat. It's finger licking good, says the box. Order pickup, so order on the app, it says.
Dude, I'm for sure
Buffalo
going to get some
ranch,
chicken nuggets from
KFC
KFC. I didn't really
barbecue,
have
honey
them.
mustard, ranch sauces. So it's promoting the different dipping sauces upon which you can dunk these. Let's take a look. Let's see what we have.
Pretty freaking good though.
Oh,
Even
that's awesome.
like it's
All right, there they are. The nuggets.
They look pretty good. Yeah, see, one thing about
look well
wrestlers,
seasoned.
wrestlers are not picky.
mm-mm.
We know exactly what it's like to
Crispy
cut weight,
too.
so we savor our
Definitely
food.
well seasoned.
Hmm.
In their layer.
Even though it looks like we inhale it, we definitely say
Let's take one out here. You can get a close-up view thereof.
it actually looks like real chicken.
Yeah, crispy. You can see the seasoning on it.
I suppose I can feed my kids.
They have a pizza upstairs.
There's the little nugget appendage dangling.
You'll like it.
There's another view of it. Yeah, appearance-wise, so far so good.
Before he tests
And
each
you
and
can
every
see in
food that he
terms of
reviews,
size from nugget to
he makes sure that you get an up close and
pie
personal
knot
view of what he's going
comparison.
to eat.
now you can get an accurate understanding of the true size of these. With that said, let's try them out.
Spicy.
Not really much
Yeah,
else to say
spicy.
about
It's
them,
the
so let's just
jalapenos.
try them out, see if they're any good or not. Then I'll dip it in the honey barbecue sauce. Take it from there.
All right.
All right. The Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets from KFC. Let's see how good they are. They're going in.
Going in. Oh, is it? You can't ever get a read on him, ever, with anything. They could be the best chicken nuggets in the world. They could be the worst ever. That's
good chicken.
That's good. How can you complain about that?
Yeah, how could you really?
Did you know
Ow, but
that chicken nuggets
oh,
can actually be found in space?
it's spicy.
Really? So chicken nuggets can be found in space, is what the Reviewbrah just said.
I wonder if he just made that up.
And generally speaking, they will travel in clouds throughout space, generally around the sun. But sometimes, and it all depends, but every couple hundred years usually,
Every
you'll
time
get
somebody says the
a
word
cloud
depends,
of nuggets
I always think of
so great in
Underwear?
size
yes, the diapers.
that for a brief time as it transits,
Every time somebody says
the
depends, I'm
sun.
just like, oh,
it is able to actually block out
Oh, the adult.
I don't wear
diaper.
those.
the
The
sunlight.
adult diaper.
I can't even say this with a straight face on Earth.
So stoic.
I think he likes it.
I think he does too.
Kind of funny though.
And they call that a solar eclipse.
Okay, well, that was
They
good.
call it a solar eclipse. I don't understand. Somebody help me understand that joke.
Yeah, silly time waster there. All right, I'll dip this in the sauce as well. Try it out, then I'll give a full assessment.
Good, wasn't it?
Oh, he liked that bite.
It's spicy.
But it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That might be my favorite pizza of all time.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
BLT is my favorite.
BLT is pretty good.
Okay, so after we were about ready,
You can have that if you want.
Oh, it's okay.
dude, knock it out, Adam. We can't finish with one slice left.
Kind of full. I know.
I'm full.
And then like a chicken, it makes me.
A basic item with essentially a basic assessment, because again, remember what I said at the beginning of this review.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone, You could be using it to make up to $10,000
What?
a month, thanks to a new loophole that.
I don't care about your
Sometimes
loophole. Why don't you shut
an
up?
item doesn't necessarily need to have all sorts of bells and whistles. It doesn't necessarily need to have 10 different sauces and this, that, and the
This
other.
is a
ingredient.
review, right? We
Sometimes
still
you
have
have
to give
a
our review about
basic
this pizza.
item,
Dad, remember
and that simplicity
how we pronounce
is what really makes it.
it?
And I am pleased
Yeah, I
to
remember
say
how that's
that
how
these
you brought
chicken
it.
nuggets from KFC
He's pronounced
are good. They are enjoyable. And I think KFC, I mean, I'll tell you what, KFC, based at least on the recent reviews I've done of some of their items, KFC has been doing good lately. And I have been experiencing a consistent quality from their establishments. And I have been to a variety of KFC restaurants, and every one of them has provided quality.
All right, we're
in
not gonna.
terms of the item that I am trying out.
So he
And
liked
that to me is a
he
very
liked
good
it. Now
sign.
time for us to give our
Because when I try
yeah. I was thinking about playing the Shawn Michaels version of your dad wrestling. We still might do that actually, but gosh, okay. So I've eaten 5 slices of this Casey's barbecue brisket pizza now. I like it. I like it a lot actually.
I'm very impressed.
When you think of barbecue brisket pizza, when you think of barbecue brisket and pizza, well, when I think of pizza, I think of 1, my favorite food, and 2, the Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtles did
Look at that.
severe injustice because every time Michelangelo opened up that box and the cheese just stringing out like 10 feet from the box, they ruined me. I was like, I need pizza like that. Some stringy cheese.
Quiz question: which Ninja Turtle was the party dude?
Michelangelo.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay, that was like the easiest question ever. That was always my favorite Ninja Turtle.
I mean, in the newer ones, I think Donatello is kind of a partier a little bit. You know, but as far as I know, it's still Michelangelo.
So, your thoughts on the brisket, the barbecue brisket pizza for Casey's? What would you, between a 1 and 10 scale, on a 1 to 10 scale, what would you grade this one?
Man, I'd give it a 9. That's a good pizza. When we ate it cold, you know, and it's still a great pizza. Can you imagine what it tastes like hot?
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually. Now that I've tried it, I think it's very great also. But what really puts it together, or ties the room together from Big Lebowski. What really ties the pizza together is the jalapeno.
I knew you were gonna say that because that spice was just mwah.
So this pizza, if we have one left still, I'm not sure if we do. Oh,
No.
we just destroyed an entire pizza. I mean, I had my girls helping me, but to be fair,
piece though.
yeah, did they?
Yeah.
And to be fair, feeding them is like feeding. You ever seen that?
Wolves.
Yeah, like on SpongeBob SquarePants, the cartoon. You know the cartoon
The
SpongeBob.
anchovies.
Well, no, when Pearl's like going through like puberty or something, and like he's having to like feed her. He's like, oh, she's spending all my money. I can't feed Pearl. I gotta feed Pearl. I feel like that right now. I've got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old daughter. It's just like, you guys are spending all my money. Send Facebook stars now.
Oh,
Here comes pizza.
Yeah, that's right. SpongeBob, here comes pizza.
yeah, that guy definitely looks like an alien. I would agree.
Okay, so a couple other notes real quick. We're going to talk about, let me get this slide picked up. So I give the barbecue brisket pizza from Casey's 2 thumbs up. I got 2 thumbs.
I'd give it 2 thumbs up too. It was great.
I give it an 8 out of 10. That's a solid. I'm a pizza snob.
I am too. It's
Give it a solid 7.5, 8.
I really love Napoli's pizza.
Oh, dude.
That's probably like my 10.
Falbo's
On the scale of 1 to 10, Napoli's is probably my 10.
Oh, dude. We've got to do a review on the Kraut Napoli's pizza.
I've never tried it.
Oh,
The sauerkraut one?
yes.
I've never tried it.
It's called the Kraut.
Is it really
Napoli's.
good?
Oh God, it's a life-changing experience.
You're kidding.
No, no,
I
no,
guess
man.
that's what I'm gonna have to get next time.
Oh, dude, let's do a food review on the kraut from Napoli's.
Okay. Next.
Hell yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna
do
be
that,
out
man.
of town next week.
That's cool.
Until the 20th. So.
Everybody out there watching knows how organized I am and how tentative I am with following schedules. But we can make it work. All right. So Craig Bonsack, his nephew Braden won 2A 106 this year for Union, and Craig was a very tough competitor in the late 70s, early 80s. He says, grew up in Iowa, loving Casey's Pizza. Had not had it in 30 years since moving south to Missouri. Just last week, my wife wanted it, so we ordered 2 pizzas and cheese bread. Gagged me with a spoon. We each had 1 piece, and it was in the trash the next day. Hope yours is better. Like she said, never again. The boss has spoken.
Yeah, if you don't get it fresh, it's not good.
That's
But
right.
This one was good even after it cooled down. So I'm like confused almost because
Well, it's probably because they slaughtered the hog today for us, since we were,
That's true.
that's what led to our tech problems today.
yeah, I mean I forgot about that. How could you forget about that?
Yeah.
Literally
Oh, how
walked
could I
in
forget
and the
this?
hog was bleeding on the floor. I was like, what are you doing?
How did I forget? They actually slaughtered that hog just for us. They just threw the rest of the hog away.
Jeez, you
So
gotta
they
put
can
the
make the
plastic
pizza.
down. There's blood everywhere.
Brian Barnhart says they look like the tenders cut down in size, and he looks like an alien.
He does look like an alien.
But a very fresh, dapper alien.
Yeah, well, so the reason I would say he's not an alien is because an alien wouldn't even, talk. It wouldn't even make a video like that. It wouldn't even, entertain.
Todd Fye says the chicken he looks like a chicken. The chicken dude is killing your number of viewers.
Well, we had to eat pizza.
We had to eat
want you
pizza.
see my mouth. And
Yeah, we're back up.
choking them.
We're back. It's going back up. It did go down like a third once we
Well,
started.
I'm sure most people probably watch after the fact. You know what I mean? Like the next day or
Yeah. Oh yeah.
throughout the week.
Yeah, that's what does seem to happen. And the stars contest. Speaking of that, the stars contest. You have until tomorrow at 6. No, tomorrow at 5. tomorrow at 5 p.m. to send your stars over. Whoever sends the most stars is going to win a free PinDox t-shirt. And the cool thing about these PinDox t-shirts is there's not very many of them that exist because I just haven't ordered very many of them. But I do have like a big box of like white and black ones, vintage ones. I just hope that no more 2XLs win, because then I'd have to order another shirt because I've run out of those. And every time I do a contest, somebody with a double XL wins. I should have ordered more of those. Anyways, so we're gonna go to we went on an hour and a half almost, and feels like 30 minutes.
Yeah, really. I mean, talking with Coach Drain there was awesome. I mean, that took up most of our time.
Okay, so we're gonna watch the 1991 Iowa High School State Finals at 145 pounds. It's gonna have clips of all 3, but the reason that we're doing this weight specifically is because we had a semi-recently. Hey Zeta, you need to go upstairs, okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Is because Saturday, I believe, one of our top contributors, and just a guy that I've only actually gotten to know through this site, actually, Danelle Ripperger from East Union High School, passed away. And this is the bracket that he wrestled in the state finals in, was 1991 1A 145 in Iowa. His was not the featured match. He wrestled against future NCAA champion Darrell Weber, who won an NCAA championship for the Hawkeyes later on. But you'll see him at the end of it. I just happened to take a look at the YouTube video, and all 3 classes, 1A, 2A, and 3A, had phenoms. I mean, had phenoms in the finals. I mean, which that's, you can say that about every year in every class. But when a little bit more about Danelle Ripperger, let me bring up the screen with him real quick. Okay, 1 second. I got to bring up a slide. Oh, before we get to that, actually, I did want to make note of Max Magana. Max Magana signed with North Dakota State University. I believe, I mean, I don't know when he committed. I just heard of it yesterday. But I know that you haven't been following high school wrestling much lately, but just to let you know how much of a big deal this is, he's a junior, and he won his 3rd state title in February. And to give you an idea as to how dominant he was this season, take a look at this quote from his dad. Let me get it real quick, actually. And this is before he wrestled the state tournament this year. His dad was a state qualifier for Waterloo East High School named Daniel Magana. I qualified in 89 or 90. It was a Chippendales dancer in the 90s. Daniel Magana says, thanks, Swaffer. 34 pins this year. Averaged 57.3 seconds. He has 109 high school career pins, taking 7,261 seconds. That's an average of 67 seconds per pin. For number nerds like me, his dad, his loss was to Colin Kelly of Mount Carmel, the number 170 pounder of all classes in Illinois. Max is humble, but I am not, because he is my baby Max. That's his dad. I thought that was one of those quotes that got me in the feels. Can you imagine having a son that was that dominant on the mat? And can you empathize being Daniel's situation, to where you configured how many seconds he averaged per match?
Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too. I used to do that for my brothers.
I mean, not that I did that myself because I didn't have the information, but if I would have had the information of how long each one took, I would have, yes. I would have done the math.
Craig Bonsack asks, why the move to crosstown rival East versus staying in Columbus? I don't know the 100% answer to that. I know like a generalized version of it. Basically, I think that he wants to test himself and see if he can win a 3A title, because he's won 3 1A titles now. And you know, there's always the ongoing debate as to what classes are tougher, 1A, 2A, 3A. You know, and if a guy wins 4 titles in 1A, and it's not fair to them necessarily, but they always have that question that comes up, oh, could he have done it in 3A? Which, of course, they could have. I mean,
I've never understood why a state as big as California makes it one class, but a state as small as Iowa couldn't figure out how to make that happen. So we just know who is the number 1 at each weight in the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that point, everybody that's on that podium could be a state champ. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
At that point, it could have been any of them, all because that is the top 8 in the state at that weight. All classes, all schools, everybody.
Right. Yeah. I know what you mean for sure.
I wrestled a state champ from California, Joey Davis.
How'd you do?
Whooped the tar out of me.
Nice. West side. And I'd say my biggest haters on this side are West Side people. I got some people from Washington that just think I am the worst thing since. Try to think of a bad thing that's hit our planet, but it's not like gonna make me sense.
Worst thing since Hitler.
I was about to say the worst thing since AIDS. I was like, I shouldn't say that, but I just did. But yeah, for whatever reason, people from the state of Washington, they get on my comment section and
the state of Washington.
The state. Yeah, the home of Ted Bundy and the Green River Killer, by the way.
Who do you know from Washington?
Nobody. They're just people that have followed the Pin Doctors through my musings.
Why would they care? That's so funny.
I don't know. They don't like me.
Funny. But they still follow you just to tell you they don't like you. That makes sense. Congratulations, you're the one that's losing.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to Danelle Ripperger. I'm sorry if I'm saying his first name wrong. I assume it's Danelle, either that or Danelle. Danelle Ripperger. But just my condolences to and thoughts and everything goes out to the East Union wrestling community as well as the Ripperger family. Let me get the the slide that has him on there. Can't think of that word. Oh, what is it? Oh, a slide. Yeah. And then I can just go forward and be done with that. Hey, got it. All right. So Donnell Ripperger, and this is a picture of him. And I've got a closer version of this bracket. And I've also got like pictures of everybody that I'm going to reference in this bracket. But this is the man who recently passed away. He was the state runner-up for East Union High School in 1991, 1A 145. The man who won his bracket was Daryl Weber from Don Bosco, and he won a title for the Hawkeyes later on, and it's like 13, 14 coaching titles for Christiansburg and Virginia. This man, one of the all-time greats. Also in this bracket is on fourth place was Tim Norton. Actually, let me get to the bracket because I want to show you what Ripperger did before he got to the finals. Just crazy impressive. Okay, I got this bracket up. There, it looks a little better, I guess. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can all read it. Hopefully that's a little better. But Donnell Ripperger's at the top right here. He's number 1. In first round, he beat a John Cassidy from Martinsdale St. Mary's. And I know John went back and placed 5th. But I don't think John Cassidy won state, but there was a Scott Cassidy that won state a couple years later. Anyways, after that, in the quarterfinals, he beat Danny Sweeting of Highland Riverside. And I know for a fact that Danny Sweeting was a state champ in 1993, 1A 160. He used to have battles with our guy from Mediapolis, Ryan Cummings. And then in the semifinals, he had Tim Norton of Clarksville. And Tim Norton of Clarksville was just a sophomore that year, but he would also win state in 1993 at 1A 145, 150, 152, I believe. So this Donnell Ripperger, before he made the finals at state in 1991 at 1A 145, he had to beat the guy that placed 4th or 5th in the bracket, which was John Cassidy of Martinsdale St. Mary's. And he also had to beat 2 state champions just to reach the finals match, where he wrestled Daryl Weber of Don Bosco, who would go on to be an all-time great Iowa Hawkeye. So just mad respect for the Ripperger family, for the East Union High School wrestling community. You guys lost a good one, and are definitely in my thoughts. I'm gonna go forward with the slide a little bit to give you a couple visuals on who some of these guys are. Looks like I'm on this one. Here's I was going to use this photo for something, Adam, but
I'm actually in that photo.
yeah.
You have a gym there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. What was that, anyways?
So my first trip to Germany was in August of a year that I can't remember. And they have a bunch of fests that they do in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard of Oktoberfest.
Yes.
That's one of the hundreds of fests I think they do. And we went to like 3 different ones. And one of them, we dressed up as Vikings.
I love it. And you guys are all a Vikings family, like a Minnesota Vikings fan family.
It was just perfect.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So Dan Sweeting, I mentioned him. That was the guy that Ripperger beat in the quarterfinals at 1A 160. He won state in 1993. 2 years later, this guy, have you ever had him as a Mediapolis wrestler that won state? Have you ever heard of Ryan Cummings?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He won 3 state titles, 2 for Mepo and 1 in Minnesota. But he's a legend in Mediapolis. Anyways, this is one of his rivals. One of the only guys that I ever saw beat him, ever.
Ryan's probably the one Cummings that I would never mess with.
Oh.
I messed with Dan, I messed with Brandon, I messed with, all But
Now, Brandon was Athlete of the Year 1996. He was the Southeast Iowa Athlete of the Year, just like we were talking last week, like Drew Buster and my brother Brennan and Steven were. Jason Payne was Athlete of the Year, I think.
yeah.
Tim Norton from Clarksville was in that bracket also. He got 4th in this bracket.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a state champ
Several
also.
state champs.
Yeah. And Darrell Weber, he won 2 state titles for Don Bosco and was an NCAA champion for the Hawkeyes.
Wow.
I want to say he won. It was 3-time AA. Anyways, Ripperger was actually only, I want to say he was up 6-5 at one point in the match. I want to say he caught him on his back at one point and then got pinned by him, but he definitely didn't roll over. That's for sure. First place was Darrell Weber of Don Bosco. Second place was Donnell Ripperger of East Union. Third place is George Robinson of Central City. Fourth place, Tim Norton of Clarksville. Fifth place, John Cassidy of Martinsdale St. Mary's. Sixth place, Tim Yeager of, it's not showing. Looks like George Little Rock. Anyways, just thought that was cool. And we're gonna watch the 1991 state finals from that year and do a little commentary on that. That'll probably be the last thing we do before we wrap things up. I'm gonna go upstairs for a second, Adam. But let me set this up. I started it at the beginning of the second period, just so we're not going to be here for too long, because it's like a 13-minute video. And there's no score in this particular match before. So let me get that set up real quick. Kind of cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So this is the 1991 Iowa High School State Finals between Mike Moreno and Mike Euchre, which Mike Moreno is of Glenwood, Mike Euchre of Osage. And that's the featured match. Mike Moreno would go on to become a 2-time JUCO All-American and an NAIA national champion. And Mike Euchre, the guy that got second in this match right here, he would go on to become a 2-time All-American for the Hawkeyes. So a couple of current and future legends wrestling in this one. And I'll be right back, Adam. I'll be right back. You want to comment on it? The black singlet is Rick Moreno.
Still
The
no
green
score
singlet
here
is Mike Euchre.
in the double A's.
Marino keeping good pressure on top. That's what Euchre needs to do. He needs to put pressure back into Marino right there to come out. Get good hip pressure, come up.
Marino has just been warned. John Marino, John Monroe, who is, by the way, the official of the year, the referee of the year from Indianola, is refereeing this match.
They say you're trying to get your hips out.
Issued a complaint.
Every position.
Rick Marino gives a warning, and next time he does that, it'll be a point. And immediately Euchre comes out. 1-0. He's up 1-0.
Well, Darrell Weber on the 1A match, Don Bosco just made some big points for himself. 5-point move. Let's go ahead 11-6 over his opponent, Daniel Ripperger from Afton East Union.
You're watching Iowa High School wrestling action on the state tournament, our 20th anniversary broadcast on Iowa Public Television.
A little out of bounds there.
Now we're coming back to action again on the feet.
Okay.
Low single try, trying to get around.
Few things about this
Not able
matchup.
to do it.
The guy in black
Not
is
able
Mike
to turn the
Euchre.
corner on Euchre.
Or guy in black is Rick Moreno. His brother
It's 4-1.
is
45
Mike
seconds
Moreno,
left in the second
would
period.
go on to become a state
4-1.
champion. Who would go on to become a state championship
Jared
coach
Downey
for
leads
Florinda
Mark
and Urbandale High
Downey
School.
from Indianola. Wallace
Mike Moreno was an
We
All-American,
have
I
less than a
believe,
minute
at
to
Iowa
go here in
State.
the second period. The man in
And
green, Euchre,
he was also a
Osage
state
leads
champion
1-0. He had an
Glenwood.
escape
I wanna say
early
he
in
was
the
the only
second
one
period, right after
won a
Marino
bracket
was
that
called
Stacey Rice from
for
Storm Lake was in.
stalling.
Off the top of my head. But his
Euchre,
nephew, Dave Moreno, and Mikey Moreno were both state champions for Urbandale.
but he didn't make it, and
Right?
Marino came out on top.
Yeah,
Interior.
Dave and Mike Moreno.
Euchre
Mikey
locked
Moreno
that
and
up and
Dave
threw
Moreno.
himself to his back.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, close.
Didn't quite get the angle. Didn't quite get the arc. Went flat to his back. Marino was able
Also,
to
his little
stick in
brother
there tight,
Quentin Moreno
get 2
was
points
around
takedown,
my
2 points for near fall.
weight.
And
He's
so
my
a
weight every
4-point
year.
move has put Rick Marino
Did Gabe go to Iowa State?
up here with
Yeah.
about 10 seconds to go in
And
the
I want
second
to say Mike,
period.
I want to say Mikey was an All-American.
At 145 pounds
That's
in the
his
double A
nephew.
class.
His son, Izzy Moreno, I'm going to say after this year, was a 1 or 2-time state champ in Montana.
That'll
So
keep
his,
people from being,
his son
Euchre
is doing
from
some big
being
things
able
in
to,
Montana right now.
maybe be as controlled as he wants
At
to
this
be.
point,
He's
I
down
believe
3
it's
points
0-0
behind. He's going to
in
have
the
to really
second
come after
period.
Moreno. Darrell Weber just
Oh,
turned
he got
his
out.
opponent again. Rippers is on his back.
So both these guys are juniors
50
during that
seconds
year.
left.
And
He's in trouble. It's a fall. And that's the first loss of the year for
Mike
Ripper.
Euchre, the guy in green,
And there's that
he
argument.
actually was in
Didn't
Ryan
quite
Cummings'
have it.
bracket the next
You
year.
got to give
Ryan
credit to
Cummings.
Marino there. He faced up real nice, made himself real heavy, and was able to keep Euchre from getting the angle and the arch that he wanted to complete that throw. Now we're back on live action again, and Marino had the
If
bottom
any of you
position
guys
starting
watching,
the
if you want to see
period.
more of this stuff, then send stars over.
There's a warning.
Or
If
send
that's
no
against
stars
Marino,
over,
that's a
wins a free
point.
t-shirt.
At least the official had his fist in the air, so
Way
I
of
can't
making,
tell
of
whether
trying
there
to
was a
make this
warning
a
or not.
financial success. What I mean by financial
To a
success
supplé
means
I've seen in a
basically,
while in high school.
I just want to be able to pay my bill. I don't need you, right?
4-1 here with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the second period. The man on the bottom leads by 3.
Probably need to be a little bit more.
He doesn't dare
Tentatively playing
start
things.
cruising here on the bottom because he was warned once. And if he
Okay, so
loses
is
a
it-
point, then that puts him. That puts the match well within reach for
Is
you.
that Bill Andrew,
Well, Euchre's coach, Bruce Gass, right there,
Bruce Gass.
yelling encouragement to him. I'll tell you what, Euchre isn't going to quit. He goes 6 minutes. He's tough on top. He's physical. This is going to be very interesting.
Anybody
all
out there from
20 seconds
Osage that's
because
watching,
Marino
can
does
you
have to
guys
move.
all
And right now,
educate me
Euchre's
on who the
hammering on
coaches
top.
have been at Osage since the formation of the
The
program?
score is 4-1 in favor of
So I know
Marino,
that,
the man on the bottom in the black.
Coach
Jared
Jennings
Downey
didn't
is
come
taking
until like the
control
late
with a
90s,
minute,
early
little over a
2000s.
minute left. He's up
He's still there.
7-2. Downey from Indianola over Wallace from
Legendary
Bettendorf.
Coach Brent Jennings.
Undefeated Jared Downey, won a title last year. Now Marino gets to his feet.
Okay, so this is third period,
Euchre's really
1991.
looking to
Iowa High
have
School
that
State
half
Finals,
in,
1A
elevate,
or
maybe go and
2A
put the leg in and
145.
drive him down to his back. He needs 3 points, and he needs it some way. And I'll tell you what, he is a
What
hard
do you
driving
think are
rider
some of
right
the
there. And with a minute left,
similarities
he still has
and
the chance.
differences between the way people
You saw
wrestled in
Glenwood coach
1991
Bob Dyer
and the way
telling
guys
Marino to
wrestled, the way the guys wrestled?
stay at it,
today?
stay at it. He's a lead by 3
Well,
with now less than a minute to
I can
go.
tell you right now, it actually is pretty severe.
Yeah.
But Euchre
When the match
on
first
top
started,
of driving still has a 3-point lead. He's going to try an international start here and decide to go for a takedown. Now that was not a takedown because the man on the bottom didn't have a time to react. That's just maintaining control.
Well, right now, the man on the bottom is having a little more time to react. He just can't.
When I got the follow,
And it won't be surprised you say he's got a stalling warning, right?
Yes, early.
Well, if he doesn't get something going, it won't be long until he gets a stalling call on him right now because the absolute aggressor is Euchre from Osage. He's trying to find every way he can to
you
score.
get out from bottom line.
And it,
Because
you know,
you're not
he
getting your
gave the
hips
4
away, you're
points
going into
actually
the
almost
pressure into
himself
you
by,
is what's
with
gonna be
not executing that body lock, and he
And
wants
then
it back.
once you're to your feet, you're in your stance, it's automatically just gets in a position where you can
I think he's
Right.
going to need to make a decision here.
That's interesting. I
The hips
never
in.
thought.
Yeah,
Maybe execute a
got it, but I tried to make a demonstration.
4 or 5 point move.
And I had
Just
been.
reach back in your pocket.
Unfortunately, I
Pull
get
one
on
out
top of me.
somehow, I'll tell you.
Somebody said, Dan,
4-1, I'm doing the international
push into
start.
me like you would.
Okay, it's 5-2. He's down.
And then I said,
5-1.
do it
He's
again,
down by
man.
4.
And I didn't do anything.
But he has
That's
less
right.
than half a minute to do something big.
Now I go down,
Here
and this
comes
time
Marino.
I'm pushing
Boy,
into me.
And he was able to slip around. He did a nice job of
And I
defending
ended up
himself
hitting him on
against
his
the upper body throw.
Really?
Euchre by
Yeah.
dropping
Went
down
straight
for a
into
single
it. He didn't do
and
anything.
getting the
Yeah.
2 point.
Just like
And he's up 7-1 with 10 seconds to go.
the boxing that didn't stop and stop.
There is the stalling call, but at this point,
It brings the match only down to
Todd
a
Fye, big
5-point
thanks
mark.
to him. Says he
7-2
clarified Bill Andrew, then Bruce Gast,
in
then
favor
Brent
of Marino.
Jennings.
Downey
Not
one
sure who
on
was
3A,
before Bill
9-3.
Big thanks to Todd
Whoa!
Fye.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
Marino
Oh,
what an effort a little bit. What an effort. And almost got put in his
Let's
back
go back
right
on
at the
that.
very
That took me
end.
by surprise. I had no
But he
idea that
did
happened.
get put on his back. And so the winner is Marino.
Oh.
Oh. Trying to find every way he can to score.
Wow.
And you know, he gave the 4 points.
He would have
actually almost
walked that
himself
up.
by, with not executing that body lock, and he wants it back.
Wow. He's on top, so the most amount of points we got.
I think he's going to need to make a decision here.
He would kind of try to go
Cut him
in, but
maybe execute it.
Holy
4 or
cow.
5 point move.
This is the type of stuff you see when you see a
Reach
future
back
three-time All-American,
Pull one out
two-time
somehow, I'll tell you.
in the
Boy,
NAIA
when you're doing international start.
D1 for the Hawkeyes. Like,
Okay, it's 5-2. He's down. 5-1. He's down by 4. But he has less than half a minute to do something big. And
so there's the take.
and he was able to slip around. He did a nice job of defending himself against the upper body throw from Euchre by dropping down for a single and getting the 2 points. And he's up 7-1 with 10 seconds to go. There is the stalling call.
Okay, so that's what makes it a 5-point match.
Brings the match
So
only
he's down
to
by
a
5. So if he would have gotten a 5 count on this, that would have put it in overtime.
In favor of Marino. Downey 1 on 3A, 9-3.
What?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Marino what an effort a little bit. What an effort. And almost got put in his back right at the very end. But he didn't get put on his back. And so the winner is Marino over Mike.
Imagine how crazy that would have been
state
if he would
champion, the
have
second
blocked that
Marino
up
in the family to
and
win a
gotten the
state
5 count, which I don't know if he would have had enough time to block that.
And there he is.
Yeah.
You gotta choke it up now. I know it's not legal in wrestling. You gotta do it. You gotta keep foot head and you gotta
From Glenwood, Iowa. Let's go to 1A in single A. The champion is
Here's the
Darryl
Here's the
Weber
Nell
of Gilbert Bill
Weber.
Don Bosco. Last year's
Wish we had a
defending
better
champion
clip
at
of the
that
Nell
weight.
Weber.
Rather than 135 pounds last year. He moved up to 145 this year.
He made it interesting before that happened.
Daniel Rebarger with 48 seconds left in the match.
It's the
The champion, Gilbert Bill Don Bosco, Darryl Weber. Dick.
Kind of like Darryl Weber.
All right, Dean, your state champion at 145 pounds in 3A competition is Jared Downey of Indianola.
Jared Downey of
had
Indianola.
little trouble in disposing of Mark Wallace of Davenport 9-3. He led throughout the match, and he is now a 2-time state
his
champion.
sons. He's got,
And right
he got
now,
sons in
we've
wrestling.
got the
Ryder
state
and
champion in his
Downey,
own
and
right,
then there's
Scott
another Downey.
Weber,
But-
Leaks in Central City. Runner-up, Danielle Rebarger after
Here's
the
some
East
awards
Union.
for this match.
And they won a 145-pound champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco,
yeah,
Darryl Weber.
Having a great career
That-
there. Darryl Weber, who was third
Do you
as a
remember
sophomore
when-
and
do you remember
first
him
last year, getting
like
the second
the,
state championship.
Robert Avila from was winning All-City
That's
West.
the 1A
Yeah,
class,
going for
1A
the
school
sport title
size, the
finals.
smaller schools.
And
Iowa high schools wrestle in 3 divisions.
anyways, the guy that
according
beat
to
him in the finals
classification
was
of school
his son,
size.
Jared Downey's son. Ryder Downey.
Here's the middle
Yeah.
one.
I would say Bowen got first or second this year.
145-pound
I wouldn't say he
warriors.
got second
Coach
this year.
Bob
Bowen
Dyer
Downey.
of Glenwood. Sixth
Anyways,
place, Dewey
kind
Hupke,
of
Cherokee,
interesting
Washington.
how wrestling
Fifth
stays in
place,
so many
Michael
families.
Doyle, Manchester, West Delaware.
You'll take them out with somebody.
Fourth
You
place,
probably took them
Jason
out with all
Rubel,
kinds of people in high
Carlisle.
school. You had no idea that they're
Third
dads
place,
and their
Chad
grandpas.
Wardlow, Centerville.
As far as you know, they're
Runner-up,
the first
Mike
people in their
Euchre,
family to ever
Osage.
do it.
And the 2A 145-pound champion from Glenwood, Rick Marino.
Way to go, Rick. Big smile.
Rick
He
Moreno.
said that's the second Marino to win a state championship out of Glenwood.
Yeah. And for the 3A guys.
Mike won his senior year, went undefeated, and now wrestles for Iowa
I
State.
didn't look at the placers in this one. I just saw Jared Downey. I think he won 2
Six
state
more
titles.
Class 3A 145-pound awards. Coach Wes Creason of Indianola.
Les Creason. Guy's a
Sixth
legend.
place, Bob Towns, Sioux City West. Fifth place, Chris Helton, Webster City.
Chris Helton.
Fourth place, Matt Mulvihill, West Des Moines Dowling.
Matt Mulvihill, he was a state champ.
Third place, Danny Reams, Charles City. Runner-up, Mark Wallace, Bettendorf. And the Class 3A 145-pound champion from Indianola, Jarrett Downey.
Yeah, his sons
Congratulations to
wrestle
Jared
for-
Downey for his second state title.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Single A,
I'm gonna say it was
152
Iowa
pounds.
State, but I also want to say UNI.
In the 1A division. We're
A lot
going to
of stuff
130
around
pounds now.
Anyways. All right. Well, if anybody out there that's still watching would like to ask a question real quick, we've got about a minute left, unless you leave questions. If anybody's still hanging in there, send stars my way if you want to see more of these. That's how these things are funded. That's how I'm making my livelihood these days. Speaking of that, if anybody knows where I can find a part-time job, hit me up. But this will be hey, Mike Doyle, Todd Fye says Mike Doyle, 5th in 2A at 1991, 2A 145, Independence coach. It's a good pickup by him. Oh yeah, crazy. I wouldn't have ever even caught that. Anyways, so we're gonna try and make this a regular thing with Adam and I. So anything that you'd like to add before we get off?
Nothing I can think of.
Right on. All right. Well, stay tuned and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out our site on Redbubble so you can buy some apparel that looks like this. You know, and get my nice sleeveless shirt. Can't even tell, can you? I'm wearing 2 shirts. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in, and I appreciate it.